Yes, that's the point I'm making. That you just don't go to a polling booth and the polling booth will make a determination that we are going to do it manually.
Oh, no, of course, it has to fail
yes.
first.
So first and foremost, you must make the attempt.
Yeah.
So having made the attempt, it presents a situation that calls for a backup. And that is why the manual reader, the manual process now comes in. So the fact that the manual reader, the manual process is never the first option. It's in conformity with the laid down procedure by INEC. So you go through the electronic card reader. If it fails, then you must overcome that problem by going through the manual process. And I think the window of cheating will just be the margin of human error.
Okay, card reader failures or no card reader failures. There's this mail here from Lawrence in the Oyelowo, Lagos area. It says that INEC officials have gone. No single voting took place there in the Oyelowo area, and it's 3:30 p.m. Now, according to, besides this mail, there's been another mail where the INEC officials came, the card reader failed, and they left. That's somewhere in Ikeja, and they have not come back. So, what do the laws have to say about this kind of electoral laws? How do they say about this situation where no election took place there? Would they have to come back and do the election again?
Yes, they will have to come back and do the election.
Before the results can be announced?
Yes, they may have to do it the following day.
Okay. Professor Akwan, how does this affect the process generally?
Well, it does affect the process negatively because if INEC officials do not have the right to just decide there would be no election and they just walk away, and by the time they walk away and then come back the following day, people don't have that information that they are supposed to go back to vote the following day. They don't have, so a lot of people will be disenfranchised in that process. And if it were a situation where, people would go and there's no election at a certain polling unit and they could walk to the next one and vote, then that would be okay, but they can't do that.
I'm just wondering, Professor Oyelowo, can that constitute an electoral offense when an electoral officer just walk away, no information whatsoever for those who are supposed to vote, and then they go away just like that?
Well, for it to constitute electoral offense, there must be more evidence than the fact that they just walked away. They could have walked away based on instruction. We do not have the full facts to assume that they've committed an electoral offense. And I don't think anybody in the process will intentionally walk away from, maybe they had an instruction to come back for further instruction. And we don't know what will be the final. So we need to wait on INEC to make a determination on those areas where there's been a total failure in the electoral process.
Should we have used this? I mean, this speaks to some of the arguments that preceded today's elections, where some suggested, why didn't we try this out with the previous governorship elections that we've had, maybe late last year? Who knows? We might have learned a thing or two before using it at the presidential elections, a big one such as this one.
Well, there are so many proposals that were made that didn't see the light of day. In fact, we had the proposal of having staggered election. Instead of having the whole lot of us going out in one day, we can stagger it, which will give INEC the resources to be able to cope with all of us. But as it is, those are things that have not found expression in the constitutional reforms. What the Constitution provides and what the electoral law provides are the things we are doing now. So we have to go by the law as it is now. And the law as it is now is what INEC is doing.
But Professor Akwan, looking at this entire process, yes, the intention of the commission is there to ensure that we have free, fair, and credible elections. But the reality on ground, even though we can't make a full assessment until all is done, but so far, this card reader challenge notwithstanding, how would you assess the progress or otherwise?
Well, for one thing, I really commend the enthusiasm of Nigerians. And coming out here, about 23 minutes, there was no vehicle inside, and people were just different places queuing up and waiting to vote. So that one is highly commendable, and it shows the maturation of Nigerian democracy. But it's disappointing that we have some of these problems. I'm not even talking about the card readers. The fact that INEC officials either do not show up on time or they show up late, that is very problematic. Because Nigerians are willing, they are ready, they want to